And we welcome Cascade County Commissioner Ray Grulkowski, who's on the inside here, and then County Clerk and Recorder Sandra Merchant, who is facing a vote toward her job description. So we appreciate both of them being here. And I just want to get right to it, Ms. Merchant. What are your thoughts on this proposal that's been put forward?
I don't think it's a good idea. I think it disenfranchises a lot of voters. I was elected to this position and for elections, basically. I don't think people were voting so much for the clerk and recorder as they were for a new election administrator. And I am learning, of course. I came into a new job, and we've improved it every election, and we'll continue to improve things as we go. And I don't see any reason. It is political. It is a political move. And no reason to be removed.
No, and Mr. Grulkowski, we've talked on the phone before, we've talked in person about how you've felt a little singled out from the commission in yourself in that recent passing of the ordinance that would remove you from chair on the Cascade County Commission. Now, what are your thoughts on this proposal from your counterparts?
I think it's wrong for many reasons. For one, it's not been thought out properly. What is our plan of execution? Commissioners have not decided. I hear that the commission statements about the commission has done this and that. The commission has not. We have not met on this issue. So how is that going to look going forward? To put a new clerk and recorder or elections person on staff is probably $115,000. I think that would be better served to restructure the commission office where there's many issues. I'm very unhappy with what I see in the commissioner's office rather than to take the elected duties, the duties of the elections, from someone who is doing a good job in there already and moving that. Yes, I'm very concerned. Why is this happening and where is it going? What office? Why that office? Why our office? So yes, this is not a clear path. There's also not been enough public involvement. I'm really concerned about that. The lack of the public's involvement or the desire to have the public involved. This is of significant interest to our county. It isn't ministerial. It isn't something that should just happen at the whim of a commissioner or the governing body without proper evaluation and input from the public.
Well, input from the public is what this comes down to. Sandra, how do you feel in this last year of scrutiny and people attacking the work that you are doing in the elections office? How do you feel you've lived up to the expectations of the job?
Well, I think that as I said, we're getting better every time. It was off to a little bit of a rough start with the IPS closing and things like that. But I believe that we are following the law, and I have worked very closely with the Secretary of State's office and made sure that we were following the laws, the regulations, and everything that is at the best of our ability. We are doing the best job we can, and we'll continue to do that because we feel obligated to the electors and the people, and we want to make sure that they have secure elections, fair elections, and count every vote that is legal to be counted.
Definitely. Well, and Commissioner Grulkowski, you mentioned a little bit that you think that she's done a good job. And today, when it comes to that vote and you do make that conscious vote, is she the right fit to run the elections administrator or the elections office?
Absolutely, and I'll start out by telling the people that I have kept in touch with that office so that I do know. The other two commissioners have not. Their decisions are based on a handful of people's opinions. The office has, I'm just so pleased that Sandra is in there. Not only has she run these elections under terrible scrutiny and walking through fire so many times, but also has done redistricting, introduced a new software, this Elect Montana, which has been very cumbersome for our county and other counties. restaffed the office using county policies. These were not hand-picked people. These were county. We used our HR policies to put in place the people that are there. I'm very pleased with who's there. I feel my vote, and my vote is protected, and our county elections is running very well, as it has not in the past. I know there's discrepancies about numbers being talked about. That is not what we had found in our canvass. I will also say that there are many things that Sandra has pointed out, lawful things that have not been either done in our county or done for many years, such as that the commissioner's responsibility is. So here again, we're talking about moving this into the commissioner's office when we have not been following the law, such as appointing the chief election administrators. This is a statute that Sandra brought to us recently this year, as well as setting the fees for what we charge our municipalities and the schools. Sandra brought that to us, that it is our responsibility as commissioners to do that. The canvass board is not the elections administrator's responsibility. It is the county commissioner's responsibility to run that board effectively and make certain that there is proper notice for the meetings, etc. Yes, I have all the confidence because I have been keeping up with it.
Well, thank you very much.
you.
And we do need to take a quick break here. We'll come back. We've got a few more questions to ask. Stick with us, and we'll just be back in a couple minutes.
From MTN News, you're watching Montana This Morning.
Welcome back. Thanks for being here. We've got Commissioner Ray Grulkowski from the Cascade County Commission, as well as Cascade County Clerk and Recorder Sandra Merchant in the studio today ahead of a vote. And I want to get right to my next batch of questions here now, Sandra. I mean, the United States is a model for democracy across the world, and how we operate our elections is one of those key foundations, of how we handle our democracy. And Commissioner Briggs made a statement to MTN last week about the trust in the system. Now let's take a look at this soundbite right here.
Every commission meeting, we were getting folks expressing their concerns. And one of the themes that came out of it, certainly not the only theme, but one of the themes was, how can you trust an election where the person who's in charge of the election is on the ballot?
Well, that's one thing that we talked about when I had Commissioner Briggs in here. Do you think that the elections administrator, Sandra, should be in charge of, should be an elected official?
Yes, absolutely.
Why?
Because the people need to choose that person, and the person needs to be accountable to the people, not accountable to someone who has hired them and then is on the ballot every 2 years, as the commissioners would be. And then that person would be answering to them as an employee. When you have an elected official in there, and they're accountable to the people can hold them accountable. They can vote them out or whatever.
What about when you come up for re-election and you're in charge of your own, counting your own votes and versus a potential opponent? Is that fair to another opponent that you're in charge of that in that way?
I would recuse myself.
You would recuse yourself?
Yes, I would. I would step, if I was on the ballot, I would not run the election, and even just for appearance's sake. I would not feel comfortable with that. I think the people would like to have that person step down and let either the commissioners appoint someone or just let the staff run it.
Well, I mean, this is what we're moving to next. We know that you're in favor of Sandra's work in the elections office. Now, Commissioner, if this resolution passes, whoever is appointed or hired, can you trust them as a county commissioner?
Well, that's left to be seen. One point I'll make on that is the commissioners are elected every 2 years. A 6-year term, but every 2 years there's a commissioner on the ballot. And now we're saying that this elected would also show integrity, all of the commissioners, to step down or move away. And if that wouldn't be the case, this resolution, I want to point out to people that in this resolution there's something that's rather unlawful. In the fifth whereas on page 2, it states that the commissioner who's seat appears on the ballot in a given calendar year shall be required to abstain from all decisions concerning the operations and management of the elections office during that calendar year until such time as the election for said office is finalized. Meaning from January to February, and I'll just let people know that next year I run again. So effective January 1, I may have no input on the operations or management of that office. This impairs the authority as set forth in statute for a county commissioner, and this is unlawful. This is in this resolution today. I question any action that'll be taken today on this resolution. This is one of the glaring points. So,
and with that being said, I mean, what do you see as a resolve for this? What could you do, or what would you encourage to be resolved today?
I think that it is more proper to discuss this issue in front of the public that has managed to get the notice that we have this meeting, and continue having meetings until the public has told us. We need to act upon the will of the people, not upon the will of our local government, because our local government needs some correction in itself.
Well, Ms. Merchant, to kind of wrap things up here, I mean, your ability as an elected official, your reputation, and the future of how we hold elections in our county is on the line today. In your eyes, what is the right thing to do for how we handle elections in this county? And clearly you don't want to lose your position as the elections administrator, but truly, for the betterment of our county, how should today play out in your eyes?
Well, I think that I don't think this resolution should be passed. I think it should be left to the people. As Commissioner Grulkowski has said, we need more public input, and not just from the same group of people who comes in and visits with Commissioner Briggs quite often. And we need it from the regular citizens. All the people need to be able to put in. They need to contact those commissioners and talk to them. They need to be at the meeting. They need to speak. They can put in written comments. They don't have to actually stand up and speak. They can write comments and hand it in, and it will be read for them. They can Zoom in as well, but their voices need to be heard.
Well, thank you very much for being here. And like we talked about with Commissioner Briggs, if this is passed, it would take effect immediately after today's meeting. Now, in anticipation of a much larger crowd, the County Commission is going to be meeting at the Exhibition Hall at the Montana Expo Park. It starts at 9:30 this morning, and you are encouraged to attend as a public member. Now, we appreciate you all being here. Brianna's going to give us a final check of that forecast. Good luck to you. We always wish you the best in the end. Thanks for being here. We'll see you.